The year 1888, the place, London, England. A killer stalks the fog-choked streets of Whitechapel. His name, whispered in fear, is Jack the Ripper. This is not just a story of murder, it is a descent into the darkest corners of human nature. Jack the Ripper's reign of terror, though brief, continues to fascinate and horrify. His victims, all women, met brutal ends. Their killer was never brought to justice. The Ripper's story is one of unsolved murders, unanswered questions, and enduring mystery. The case continues to capture imaginations worldwide. The brutality of the crimes, the mystery surrounding the killer's identity, and the historical context all contribute to its enduring appeal. Jack the Ripper's story is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of society. The Whitechapel murders exposed the social ills of Victorian society, the poverty, the desperation, and the vulnerability of women in the East End provided a breeding ground for fear and violence. Jack the Ripper's crimes shocked the world. They also forced authorities to confront the plight of the poor and the need for social reform. The Ripper's story is not just a historical curiosity, it is a cautionary tale that reminds us that even in civilized societies, darkness can lurk in the shadows. The case continues to challenge our understanding of criminal psychology and the nature of evil. It serves as a stark reminder of the importance of justice and the need to protect the vulnerable. Victorian London was a city of stark contrasts. Opulence and poverty existed side by side. The wealthy elite enjoyed a life of luxury and privilege. Meanwhile, the poor struggled to survive in squalid conditions. The East End in particular was notorious for its overcrowded slums, rampant disease, and widespread crime. Whitechapel, a district within the East End, was the epicenter of the Ripper's terror. It was a place where poverty, crime, and vice flourished. The streets were narrow and dimly lit. The air was thick with the stench of poverty and despair. Most residents lived in abject poverty. They were trapped in a cycle of hardship and despair. Many women in Whitechapel were forced into prostitution to survive. They were easy prey for predators like Jack the Ripper. The police often turned a blind eye to the plight of these women. They considered them to be on the fringes of society. The Ripper's crimes exposed the vulnerability of these women. They highlighted the dangers they faced on a daily basis. The social conditions of Victorian London, particularly in Whitechapel, played a significant role in the Ripper case. The poverty, the desperation, and the lack of social safety nets created an environment where a killer could operate with impunity. The Ripper's crimes were a symptom of a deeper societal malaise. They exposed the dark underbelly of Victorian morality and the hypocrisy that often lay beneath the surface. The victims of Jack the Ripper were all women living in poverty. They were mothers, daughters, and sisters. They were human beings whose lives were tragically cut short. 5 women are generally considered to be the canonical 5 victims of Jack the Ripper. These are the women whose murders share a similar modus operandi and geographical proximity. The first victim was Mary Ann Nichols, murdered on August 31st, 1888. Her throat was slashed and her body was mutilated. The second victim, Annie Chapman, was found murdered on September 8, 1888. Her body was also brutally mutilated. The third victim, Elizabeth Stride, was killed on September 30th, 1888. Her throat was cut, but her body was not mutilated. Catherine Eddowes became the Ripper's 4th victim on the same night as Elizabeth Stride. Her body was found with extensive mutilations. The final victim, Mary Jane Kelly, was murdered on November 9th, 1888. Her body was discovered in her room. It was the most brutally mutilated of all the victims. The brutality of the murders and the fact that the killer was never caught sent shockwaves through London and the world. The victims were not just names on a police report. They were women whose lives were tragically cut short. Their stories continue to resonate today, reminding us of the human cost of violence and the importance of seeking justice for all victims of crime.